Hello and welcome to an icon new video, and today we're going to be talking about the fact that Ralsei is probably a goddamn bitch. And I know what you might be saying. You may be saying, Kindmod, are you insane? Yes, but also I have evidence. There are a few key scenes where Ralsei may be classified as a bit of a bitch. But for these scenes to make sense, we first have to talk about this scene right here. And this scene right here is the Noelle and Suzie date scene. Or more specifically, what happens in both a neutral run and a Snowgrave run of that scene. In a neutral run, we as the player are transported to watch Susie and Noelle go about their goddamn date. However, in Snowgrave, that doesn't happen. Why doesn't it happen? It is because Kris stops us. So now that we know that both of these outcomes are the potential outcomes of the scene, what can we do with them? Well, over in the Kris stops us category of things, Ralsei is completely goddamn confused. Because frankly, Ralsei doesn't understand why this happened. Because Ralsei doesn't know about Snowgrave. So us going out of our way to make Noelle suffer and make Kris stop us from seeing Noelle again is inadvertently causing Kris and Ralsei to not have the conversation they were going to have. Because yes, they were going to have a conversation which we would catch the last glimpse of. But it is through this scene that we can 100% confirm that Ralsei is aware of us. And what we can also glean from this is that Ralsei wants to be alone with Kris. Even though only in one timeline can Ralsei actually do it. But whatever their talk was, let's say what it wasn't. The talk they had wasn't about opening Chapter 3's Dark Fountain. Because even in Snowgrave, Kris still opens the Dark Fountain. Meaning that Ralsei isn't actually encouraging Kris to open Dark Fountains here, it is just Kris doing whatever they are planning to do. And with that I can confidently conclude that Chapter 3 has nothing to do with Ralsei. However, the knowledge that Ralsei knows about us makes him a bitch in this scene. Now this is supposed to be a phone, however I can't draw. What I'm referring to here is the post-Spamton fight dialogue. In said dialogue, Kris has a choice. Or more specifically, we have a choice. We are asked the question if we are okay. We can answer yes or no, however, Kris is not okay. And here's what happens if we answer. If we say no, Kris just starts screaming, but more importantly, if we say yes, Ralsei lies to Susie. Susie can obviously tell that we are not telling the truth, but Ralsei assures Susie that Kris is trying to make them not worry about them, and that they should respect Kris's wishes. Now, of course, that would make sense if Ralsei didn't know about us, but they clearly do. So Ralsei is lying to Susie and in cahoots with Kris, or at least wants to be in cahoots with Kris, to some extent. This is a potential move. We are exerting control over Kris. Ralsei is possibly trying to work with Kris to get rid of us. But whatever conversation they had here was not important enough for Chapter 3 to not happen. Perhaps before we even took control, Kris had some sort of contact with Ralsei. Or maybe, in the time we don't know what Kris did, Kris had some sort of conversation with Ralsei. Maybe Kris and Ralsei are both knights. I don't know. I'm not about to make a theory on that. This theory is all about if Ralsei is a bitch. Third scene. Boat. The worst scene. This is horrible. Now, obviously, Ralsei knows about us. And probably is flirting with us. But like, brother, you. Brother, you. Ralsei, your ass looks like my brother. What are you doing? Like, yeah. Technically, you're not Kris's brother. But like, still, stop blushing, I swear to God. And don't look me directly in the eye while talking to me, okay? Absolutely goddamn not. This has nothing to do about you being a bitch. I just don't like it. And frankly, if you keep staring at me like that, I will kill you. If I ever have the choice between saying Ralsei is a bitch and Ralsei is a homie, I'm gonna call him a bitch. Cause like, that's a little too much. This doesn't matter. But like, I just wanted to mention it. Ralsei clearly has some sort of weird thing going on with the player and also is working together with Kris. But Kris is potentially not working together with Ralsei because of Snowgrave leading their conversation to not happen. So Snowgrave may actually throw a wrench into Ralsei's plan. Maybe the very reason we have Snowgrave in the first place is because of this very thing right here. Maybe Ralsei is planning something devious. And it will happen if we don't do Snowgrave. Or more specifically, it will happen if we don't do the weird route. So the theory goes like this. Ralsei is trying something and Ralsei needs Kris for that something. So Ralsei is trying to establish opportunities where Kris and Ralsei can be alone to talk to one another. However, through the weird route, we can actually stop these conversations from happening, so Kris and Ralsei never have a chance to talk, and so Ralsei's plan will fall through in the end. That is my theory. My fit goes incredibly hard, honestly. And also, cue the clown!